on brandlive.co.za.
A very warm welcome to your daily dose of the social show for the week. My name is Via Kyolan and I'm here with you from 9:30 till 10 a.m. And if this is your first time listening to the show, it's very important to note that we highlight the very best initiatives within CSI, CSR, as well as shared value. And of course, if you don't know, I keep saying this, if you don't know what those things mean, then you're listening to the right show. Of course, we're not going to leave out our corporates who are meant to facilitate these amazing projects. Now, if you would also like to get in touch with me or have an opinion to share about the show or the topic at hand, or have a question for our guest that's coming up a little bit later, please don't be afraid to do so at Brand Live Radio on Twitter, or you can just send me an email at press@social-tv.co.za. But also, if you want to know a little bit more about what I do, what we do, what CSI, CSR shared value is from a visual perspective, go to www.social-tv.co.za. Without missing a beat, let's go straight into our news. Reinforcing its commitment to reduce emissions in its cocoa supply chain across Ghana, Monash International signed a memorandum of understanding with the Forestry Commission of Ghana, Ghana Cocoa Board, and the United Nations Development Programme, the UNDP. Through its sustainable cocoa sourcing program, Cocoa Life, the company will lead the implementation of projects to deliver the Ghana Cocoa Forest REDD Plus program, which aims to tackle deforestation and forest degradation. Hubert Werner, Executive Vice President and President of Europe at Monash International, says that deforestation makes up the largest part of our carbon footprint, which is why it's so important that they address the issue head on. In other news, while the city of Cape Town is implementing level 6B water restrictions, the city of Johannesburg has urged residents to reduce water consumption, emphasizing that level 1 water restrictions, which have been in effect since March of 2017. Mayoral Committee member Nico de Jager says consumption has increased at an alarming rate amid hot conditions in Johannesburg. Cape Town residents are limited to 50 litres per person per day in a bid to avoid the complete shutdown of municipal water supply system currently forecast for the 12th of April. And lastly in our news, legendary jazz musician Hugh Masekela has passed away following a battle with prostate cancer. In a statement released recently, with the Masekela family says the music icon passed away in Johannesburg surrounded by his loved ones fighting a contagious battle with cancer. They described him as a loving father, grandfather, as well as a brother and a friend. A career spanning more than 5 decades, Masekela gained international recognition with his distinctive Afro jazz sound and his hits such as Soweto Blues, which served as one of the soundtracks to the anti-apartheid movement, and of course, the unmistakable or unforgettable Stimela. President Jacob Zuma has also sent his condolences to the Masekela family, describing Bahu as one of the pioneers of jazz music in the country. And that concludes our news for the day.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za, an industry first in the world of internet radio. Not only are we an internet radio station, we are an internet radio platform for your brand. So why not expose your brand to potentially thousands of listeners and improve your customer relationships and brand equity with podcasts and live broadcasts? Be sure to check brandlive.co.za for more information. brandlive.co.za, harnessing the power of internet radio.
You have $1.25. In the United States, you can have 5 bags of deep cheese and a pretzel. In London, you can have an instant soup. In India, you can have 2 steamed rice cakes. In Ghana, you can have a small box of chicken and rice. While you're imagining the tasty smell of that chicken and rice, 1.3 billion people around the world only have $1.25 to survive per day. They don't have a choice, but you do.
What is individual social responsibility? Social responsibility is about me, you, and us. It is about our action, how we affect people, the community, and the environment around us. What if we all accepted responsibility for the challenges that our communities face? What if we challenged ourselves to create positive impact with every action we take? Just like businesses focus on corporate social responsibility, JCI members are challenged to focus on individual social responsibility. We all have rights as citizens, but we also have responsibilities. The JCI Active Citizen Framework is a social plan that serves as a roadmap to sustainable development. That is what social responsibility is about. It is about me, you, and all of us taking responsibility for the future of our world, starting from our local community.
Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Grow! Yeah! Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.bstownmedia.co.za.
Show with myself, Viwe Cholwana. And of course, if you miss the first part of the show, you miss out on a bit of the news. But don't fret, don't worry. We'll be back again tomorrow, Monday. But more than that, there's a podcast that's going to come out at the end of this specific show. Today's quite a special show. I'm going to call it, I've actually been running around in my mind thinking, what am I going to call today? Thursdays, it's going to be a Thursday thing. It's going to be every single Thursday. So it's going to be called Social Entrepreneurship Thursday, where I talk to young entrepreneurs who are trying to really find solutions to urgent social environmental challenges. Now, these young visionaries represent a powerful force if given the opportunity to develop much needed skills, access additional resources, and learn from and collaborate with one another to drive meaningful, dynamic, and measurable change. If you have been listening, you know that in the past year, I've been the biggest advocate for social entrepreneurship because I think it's a beautiful collaboration of people making money, but also making money in a way that does not harm the environment, that makes sure that their communities are served, that a specific social, as I said, need is met. And today I am joined by an amazing young woman who is going to share a little bit of her business. I don't know. I feel like Thursday is just a bad day. Do you also feel like that?
No.
Okay, thank you for saying that. But we've got Vimbai on the show, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about her social innovation, which she started quite recently. She's young. She's like 23.
24.
24? My
Yeah.
bad. You look 23.
Well, I turned 24 2 weeks ago, so
Oh, wow.
still okay.
Happy belated.
Thank
And she's going
you.
to talk to us a little bit about her business, her journey, and hopefully somebody out there is going to hear and invest. That's what I hope for you. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you, Viwe.
Thank you. Now tell us more about you. I want to know who you are, what you stand for, what your history has been, and what shaped you and what got you to where you are today.
Okay, so my name is Vimbai Angela Butao. I'm originally from Zimbabwe, but I've been studying here for 4 years at Monash, South Africa.
Yes.
Right now I'm doing my postgrad in management, specializing in corporate governance.
Lovely.
Yes.
Definitely. So you're from Zimbabwe?
Yes.
When did you get here?
2014.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
amazing. When did you fall in love with social entrepreneurship?
2014.
Yeah. So what happened? What happened then? What was your calling? What did you feel? What was it about social entrepreneurship that made you open your eyes?
Okay, so when I came to Monash, South Africa, I was introduced to community engagement.
Yes.
Right. So I was like so interested. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Let me just join and see what's up. And I was volunteering, tutoring grade 8s, math and English.
Lovely.
It was amazing. So that's when I fell in love with it. But my idea came up when end of 2014 when I met one of the young learners that I was teaching. And then he said to me, Mamba, you know what? We love the fact that you guys come here and help us out with math, but I feel like you kind of forget some of us have different talents, such as drama, sports, and all of stuff like
They've
that.
got different extramural activities
Exactly.
and talents, yes.
And it's not really recognized. And that's when I came up with the idea. I actually reflected on my past when I was young. In my first year of high school, we kind of had like an situation at home.
Yes.
So the only thing that used to like make me feel like myself or express my feelings was poetry.
Lovely,
right?
yes.
But I was at a government school, so it wasn't something that's taken seriously.
Yeah.
Unlike in private school, you get like all those opportunities.
Yeah.
So that's when I realized that there's actually a loophole in government school where there's no resources, there isn't enough money or funding for them to actually take part in extramural activities. So that's when I decided to start my program.
I completely agree with you. Actually, Trilog last year, which is a CSI handbook, they spoke a little bit about how arts and culture, just as a unit, doesn't get enough funding.
Yes.
And you can see that in government schools. You see maybe a bit of sport, but arts and culture as well. I'm just listening to your poetry point. So when did you decide to get involved with the MSA Lead program?
Okay, so 2014 is the year that I came up with the idea, and then 2015 2015, that's when I actually started the innovation and all of that with the help of Monash South Africa. And then that's when they also like started the whole MSLE thing. So I saw other people applying for it. And then 2016, I read people's stories. I was so motivated. And I said, you know what? I also want to do this. I can do this. Because that's when I felt like I can do this for the rest of my life. It's something that I love.
So to be in the MSA Lead program, you have to be from Monash?
No.
Okay.
You
so
don't.
You can apply from whatever field you're in, whatever school you're in?
Yes.
Oh,
wherever you're from. Like this year we had... we were 10 of us,
yes.
and 8 of them are not from Monash.
Wow.
Yes.
I
We're
love
like
that.
different, some from Cape Town. So, yeah.
So the access is bigger, people can get involved. What is your business idea and model, and what are the issue? You actually just told us about the extramural idea, but what is the model that you're going to be working with?
Oh, wow. So basically, for the past year, it wasn't really a business. It was just working with, so I was just trying to see how my program can work out. And then working with volunteers from Monash. So yeah, this year, that's when I decided that I want to make it actually a business and give opportunities to young people from the communities who have like that raw talent but do not know how to express, how to actually use it out there, and help them take those people so that they can mentor the young ones who also have talent. So yeah.
So you're seeing like a mentorship program where you go into schools and then you get the people to help harness whatever other talent that they have?
Yes.
And have you looked at any schools so far, or have you just been you have just the idea so far and you're going to start looking at the schools this year?
I have.
Okay.
So last year I partnered with Boys and Girls Youth Africa in Cosmo Center.
Yeah.
So at the center they have like learners from Blue Eagle High School and then Cosmo City Primary 1 and Cosmo City Junior School coming to the center. So those are like my focus for now, to start working with them, and then we'll expand into other communities.
That is so lovely. And who do you hope to collaborate with in the future that will help you, grow your business? I know that sometimes we know who we want to help and we know who's going to help them, but who's going to help us get them the help? Who have you been sort of targeting in terms of that aligns with your strategy?
Okay, so since I have had like a very good partnership with Boys and Girls Youth Africa, I'm just looking to people who have like an interest in talent and cultural activities.
Love it.
Schools, high schools, primary schools, yeah.
Even the government. I mean, you study in corporate governments. It would be great for them to see a young social entrepreneur trying their best to harness, talent. I think it's amazing. What can donors, or where can donors rather, and potential investors get a hold of you?
Okay, they can get hold of me on my mobile number, which is 061 039 1398, or via email, vimbayibutawu@gmail.com. That's VIMBAYIBUTAWU@gmail.com.
And what would you say to like up and coming young visionaries such as yourself about the MSA Lead program, about really meeting purpose with purpose and finding ways in which you can serve your community and also be a business leader?
They should definitely go for it.
Yes.
It's the best thing that you can do for yourself as an entrepreneur. You get opportunities to meet other entrepreneurs. You learn more about yourself as an individual, as a leader. So yeah, it's an opportunity that you should jump for.
I love it. What more can we see this year coming from you? What more do you think is going to help you? What do you want? What are your goals?
Okay, I want to create like a bigger platform for last year we had talent shows that we hosted for the young learners in Cosmo City.
Yes.
So we wanted to go big this year. Yeah, so that we can get more people involved.
So you get talent shows, maybe get some people who are influential to be there.
Yes.
To maybe see the talent, maybe they can do more.
Yeah, actually looking into getting like celebrities to be there, to be part of it, to actually see this raw talent. Maybe, you never know, maybe Casper University will see a good dancer, like, I want that kid on my video. So
100%. And I'm seeing a lot of that. And you know what I'm seeing also, which could be a great venture for you, is that a lot of people are posting online.
Yes.
And little kids, young kids, posting how they dance, how they sing. That's also another avenue where you could have a virtual way in which you can get their talents to be recognized.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you so much for your time, Vimbai.
Thank you, Vio, for the opportunity.
We're going to take a short break and we'll be back with things to remember. But that was Vimbai talking about not only the MSA Lead program, but more than that, talking about social entrepreneurship and her journey, which I think is fantastic. I'm going to take a break.
In 2016, the United Nations defined 17 goals for a sustainable development towards the protection of our planet's resources and a peaceful and prosper humanity. They build the frame for a global transformation by 2030. But this time, something is different. It was a joint approach with politics, business, academia, and NGOs working together. And BASF was apart from the beginning. We want to be a driving force in reaching the SDGs because we see chemistry as an enabler for a sustainable future. The SDGs guide us in our decision-making as we strive for solutions that have a positive impact on reaching these global goals. For example, we produce more solutions which tackle water scarcity, like water filtration and desalination. Or we support people in countries with malnutrition, for example, with food fortification developments. And we are committed to save our valuable resources globally, for example, through better recycling processes and more biodegradable substances. We contribute to the SDGs and thus add value for BASF, the environment, and society. For us, sustainability makes good business sense and is good for the planet. So let's come together and partner to reach the Sustainable Development Goals. BASF, we create chemistry.
The jobs and economy of the future will be urban. By 2030, 60% of the global population will live in cities. To ensure decent work and economic growth, local leaders face many challenges. 40 million jobs need to be created every year for young people entering the labour market. Depending on the developing region, between 45 and 90% of workers are in the informal economy. There are 168 million children in child labour worldwide. Women's average wages are between 4 to 36% less than men's. Many local governments are already taking action, fostering community participation and social dialogue between employers and workers, including in the informal economy, adapting and responding to economic trends and challenges, promoting entrepreneurship, job-oriented policies, innovation and labour protection, and learning from one another through city-to-city cooperation. Local and regional governments do all this to ensure inclusive and sustainable economic growth, employment, and decent work for all, which is Goal 8 of the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda. Achieving SDG 8 depends on local governments.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za.
When you hear that dramatic music, you know it's time for Things to Remember, that part of the show where I leave you with something to just take home with you, take to the office, take to whatever meeting you have, and just ponder on and think about and have a conversation about when you get home. And usually I have some sort of upbeat message, and today I really wanted to focus a little bit on the passing of the father of South African jazz, Hugh Ramaphosa Masekela, who is known for his jazz compositions and for writing well-known anti-apartheid songs such as Soweto Blues, Bring Him Back Home, and my favorite, Tuma Mina. And he also had a #1 US pop hit in 1968 with his version of Grazing in the Grass, a lovely, lovely album. We're going to play a short clip on one of his interviews he had in Ghana when he was performing, and he spoke about something that was quite amazing. When he said, I don't really want to be known as South African, but this is what he wanted to be known as, and we're going to play a little bit of that, and after that we're going to be back with the message for the day.
I was bewitched into music, like I said earlier. From my first instrument was the piano. My parents got me to play the piano. They got me piano lessons at the age of 5 to get me away from the gramophone, which I lived for. And after the piano, when I was 14, I saw a film about a trumpet player. I mean, I already worshipped Louis Armstrong and all that, but the thing about that particular film was called Young Men with a Horn, is that Harry James was a great band leader of the 30s, 40s, and 50s, played the trumpet in it, the most beautiful tone. And I said to myself, if I can sound like that, it'll take me anywhere I want to go. Not for success, but just to enjoy music. And of course the trumpet, you can tell with Louis, most trumpet players are the ones who are standing in front of the band. So maybe I was a little forward in taking that horn, but I didn't want to be in second spot. But mostly an instrument is an inanimate object, like a camera. You have to capture it, you have to capture its function, and you never get to know it. So it's not the instrument that counts, it's the person behind it, because they make it to work. Well, I don't look at myself as a South African, I don't think it's my problem that I was born there. What I got from South Africa is fantastic. It has taken me to the world, where I am today and where I wanted to be. I never wanted to be just in South Africa. And I think that people who just want to be in one place don't go anywhere, so they don't get to know much. But I've always been on the side of justice, and I never just cried for South African people. I cried for Angolans, for Mozambicans, for Zimbabweans, for Zambians, cried so much tears for the Congo. I still am, name any country in Africa, Uganda, Sudan, it's just like, I don't know.
That was Hugh Masekela speaking about his love for not only his country, but the rest of the continent, which I thought was such an important thing to speak about. Something that we need to remember is that this man, not only was he an amazing artist, accomplished international, went everywhere in the world, but he was also had such a beautiful heart, big heart for his country and his continent. He was also involved in several social initiatives and served as a director of the board of the Lunchbox Fund, a non-profit organization that provides a daily meal to students in townships in Soweto. There's so many things that are coming out into the surface about this man and about his love for his continent, and more than that, his love for his music. And it's very important that we don't forget him, and we make sure that we celebrate him, even though he's just died. We celebrate the work that he did. We celebrate the things that he stood for. We celebrate who he was and how he stood for against a lot of the anti-apartheid, the apartheid movement. But more than that, he stood for everything that had the word injustice in it. And I, for one, am completely saddened by his death. And that concludes our show for the day. If you have any questions for Vimbai, who was on the show today, if you want to speak a little bit about the news, if you have anything that you want us to know about Masekela that perhaps not a lot of people know, please don't be afraid to send us a tweet at Brand Live Radio, or you can send me an email at press@social-tv.co.za. That concludes our show for the day. This is our Social Entrepreneurship Thursdays. We're starting it today, and it's going to carry on for the rest of the year, and I can't wait to engage more young minds. Thank you so much, Vimbai. It's been amazing. Anyway, we're going to catch you again, same time, same place, every single day, only on The Social Show.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za.